Find justice through Heisen Legal Law Firm, 813-803-0733, and no cost to you unless they win. You know that. Now the audio's kicked in. Here we go. A bit of a stop-start. I think we're good. Tell us in the chat if you have audio.
The radio got the audio immediately, but we had to switch a couple of ones and twos. You won't see me for a little while, but know that I am here. Know that I'm in the studio.
Floating about the joint.
Know that I am looking upon Jeff in his Leon Lions hat right now, and it looks spectacular. As This is the final weekend before the season starts, yeah?
Yeah. For high school, that is correct. Yeah, yes, that is correct. Another practice for the boys today in 115-degree heat, and I tell them, buck up, soldier. That's what we used to do, damn it. That's what we used to do. So, yeah, and then they'll be ready to go. Hey, I feel like I cheated our friends that are the advocates in times of need there with Heisen Legal Law Firm, HeisenLegalLawFirm.com, where you want to go, 813-803-0733. No cost to you unless they win. So if you've been in an accident, that's where you want to go. Sorry about that, Heisen Legal. Now we're settled.
How you doing? How do I look today for the people that
you got a Mets pullover on like you typically do,
and
right. Things are good. You know what? It was fun. So let me just piggyback off of what we had regarding the meeting last night over in Pensacola and just talking with people about the season. You know, I think the word is out. I think people. First of all, it was a lot of fun. Again, thanks for having me. For those that are listening in the chat now, you didn't get to hear that, but I said it at the outset here. Thanks for having me. I loved being over there to talk to folks, and food was good, and the folks were energized and excited, and the Q&A was fun, and I enjoyed being there. So I'd be happy to go back anytime you guys want. Well, not anytime. Next year. I'll be back for the same engagement.
Maybe a speaking engagement the weekend of FSU baseball being over there.
Sure.
So that way that your trip is taken care of.
Well, it's not so much about that. I just that's a rowdy, fun, rowdy in a good way, fun bunch. They love Florida State, and they've been around a long time, and they were eager and engaged and ready to go. And there was the whole, I feel like it was one more moment to get energized about a season I'm already excited for, one more box to check of the many boxes you check before the season begins. And in this case, a little bit different than usual because it's the last box you check before heading off to Ireland, which is not normally the case. Normally, you're just getting ready for a game either at Doak or maybe a special neutral site place like Dallas, or you're going to be in Atlanta, or perhaps, something like Jacksonville in years past and things like that. Yeah, this is definitely different. And no practice today for the team in terms of on the ground, what we're talking about. They did, however, it sounds like, by all accounts, have a very good practice yesterday. And listening to Mike talk about yesterday's practice, you could tell he was pleased with the level of intensity and engagement and focus and some things that he continues to learn about some of the younger players. I mean, one of the things that I continue to be interested in is really an openness from Mike to talk about guys who are missing time, guys who have just come back off of injury, guys that are pushing starters from the previous year or veteran players at the very least, the young players that have made an impact and will likely get some playing time. He's been an open book this camp. There hasn't been too much that he's kept from just the general public in his comments. He's been happy to talk about the guys that have come in and made an impact, happy to talk about some of the veteran players that need to do better, that need to play more consistently if they're going to remain out there. Happy to talk about guys that, he'll talk about a segment group, and in the midst of that, he'll be like, well, now, obviously, we haven't had DJ Lundy as much as we would have liked in camp so far. He's just working his way back. When he said that was a week ago or 5 days ago, but I was like, oh, okay, Mike, there we go. He just did it with Marvin Jones yesterday. Talked about Marvin Jones Jr. not playing. And makes our job a hell of a lot easier, because what happens is, obviously, everybody's starved for information, starved for context, starved for, information that's going to tell them about who that starting 11 is on defense and who that starting 11 is on offense, because we're really close to playing football. We are, obviously, it's for you and I, it's less than 10 days before we fly out.
Correct. And they will, that Monday of game week, I would imagine, release their depth chart. That's the whole thing, because they still do that. There are some programs that do not, but Mike typically does. And so you get maybe a few lines of or where they still don't know, or they don't want you to know.
Right.
Usually receivers, one of those places. And this year it might be a bunch of ors. But a lot of the times with the offensive line, the defensive line, you get to see if somebody's earned a spot. I remember last year when the depth chart was initially released, Jerrion Jones was elevated to the first position at nickel. And we had thought, man, there's nothing in fall camp that suggests he would be the starter. Greedy Vance was the one that was taking all the reps. Why is Jerrion in that position? Well, whatever limited action that they saw that we didn't, by the end of the season, you understood why Jerrion was in the position that he was.
So Jerrion Jones' career is an interesting one, but yeah.
There will be a couple of those, I'm sure, and not too long from now.
Not too long from now, and I think for Florida State, they're coming into their own right now. This is a really physical practice we're talking about yesterday, and another one obviously scheduled for tomorrow, which is a scrimmage tomorrow morning. So the fact-finding mission, if you will, of who's what that we're talking about here and where they sit, kind of the last opportunity is tomorrow. I mean, the real, when you think about it, the last opportunity is for tomorrow, because if you don't shine in this scrimmage tomorrow and you're one of the veteran players that's been pushed by a young player, you might be in trouble. It may not be there for you to get back until later in the year, depending on how those young people play when they're thrust into action. And if you are a veteran player who's been holding on tenuously to a spot and you perform well, you may have secured that for the first game. So, yeah, it's a big deal tomorrow.
Yeah, and you don't have a run-up. Like a couple of years ago in 2022, I forget who Florida State played in week 0. But remember, we did have a week 0 opponent.
Oh, the place out of Pittsburgh, that little tiny
Duquesne. Yeah, we had Duquesne. And, I think in that particular season, in that particular camp, if you were a player who was fighting for a position, you might not have been great in the second scrimmage, but maybe in the Duquesne game, you show them a little something. Like you have a run-up. No, man. I'm not saying that Georgia Tech is LSU as a season opener, but you got no time to mess around with this kind of stuff. So, yeah, tomorrow is critical. Tomorrow is critical for at least 3 or 4 position groups.
Imagine being a running back in that rotation. There are a number of guys that have performed well in camp so far. So, you've heard a lot about how Singleton has played well. He's had his days. That's true of, obviously, guys we expect to get more carries than Singleton, which would at this point, Williams and Toafili and guys like that, of course, are going to get – there he is, are going to get carries, and they're going to be the main sources. But there is probably one more guy that's going to get some time in that group as an essential runner. Well, here you go. Like tomorrow, it's got to be your day. It's an important day, in my opinion, for Keziah Holmes.
That's my guy.
Who's kind of got passed over by Sam Singleton this camp so far. So Keziah, who I think is going to play a part in that running back room, has to have, I think, a good day. He needs it. But this is what I'm talking about, that stiff competition where you're 4 and 5 deep, 6 deep. Micah Danzy's come in and made a huge impression that he's going to get some sort of offensive package in some way.
Yeah, it sounds like he's been pretty dynamic after, let's say the ball's in his hands in a catch, or after he gets into the open space. Like, he can make guys miss, and he can generate that corner. That's what I'm hearing, is that he can get that corner that some guys just can't.
Well, it's like world-class speed, Tom. We're talking about the kind of speed that, it takes your breath away.
Yeah, one of those examples that I can recall is the Rose Bowl in 2014 when you see Mariota at the corner and you're thinking, because we had world-class defensive athletes at the time, it's 3rd and 6. Here he comes.
Right.
That's 4th and 2. No, it's a first down by 2 yards because he's already there.
That kind of fast. Yeah. And then also like a 10-yard gain, it's a 23-yard gain, or normal 5-yard run turns out to a 14-yard run. Yeah. You think you have angles and you don't. Wondering where he's at after tomorrow's scrimmage with these receivers. It's the biggest question you have. Tomorrow is the biggest day. I can talk about running backs. I can talk about defensive backs and rotations because they're deep and there's a lot of young kids pushing for time, not to supplant the starters, but to get out on the field. We can talk about that all day. That's fun. Even the tight end room is fun because of the emergence of Courtney and the health of Jackson West still being intact, which is, knock on wood, a miracle. Sort of the late immersion back into practice of Landon Thomas, who had such a good spring. Mike talked about this, so I can talk about it. He's just now getting back. So, there's that. So there are also those things. But the receivers are really what it's about right now. There just have not been – one of the things I brought up yesterday was that There doesn't appear to be a bona fide one at this time. Don't have to have one. It would be nice, especially when you play defenses that are equipped to stop the run. You got to have a guy, but we don't really play one of those just yet. I mean, Georgia Tech's not going to be that team. Boston College is not going to be that team. You have a bye week after that. So you got some time to figure it out. It'd be nice if somebody emerged. It'd be really nice if after tomorrow's scrimmage, and I don't care who it is, whether he's talking about Lewayne McCoy or Moore or whomever. I don't really care. I mean, if you're a true freshman and you're lighting it up, well, you're going to play. If you're truly lighting it up, it doesn't really bother me.
I find this interesting, though, because while they might not have a one in the ilk of Keon Coleman or Johnny Wilson, I would think Malik Benson is your best receiver, as in he's head and shoulders above the rest. Yeah. So in that sense, you have a one. Like you have
somebody will be designated as a one. I'm obviously using a one as a descriptor of what you truly. It's like somebody has to be your number one in a rotation.
Sure.
If it's a 4-starter that's your number one, you're gonna have a long year.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just, I don't think Malik is in the conversation with all of these other guys like Poitier, like Williamson, like Jaylen Brown or Hakeem, or I think Malik is going to be on the field. Like, that.
He's going to start.
Yes.
He had 13 receptions a year ago.
Man, that really is a stick in your craw, isn't it?
He didn't do a damn thing. If you go back and look at the season, he didn't do anything.
So has he not been better than the other receivers in camp? Has he been the same as a Darion, the same as a Kentron?
No, but at least Malik's out there every day. Malik is the number one on this team. He's just not an accomplished number one, and he's also 6 feet tall, 190. So he's not making contested catches down the field with one-on-one jump balls against a great corner. He's not going to do it. It's not going to be him. He's going to have to make plays in space and run away from people because he's really quick and really fast. But he's not winning the balls that you saw Johnny Wilson win or Keon Coleman win. We don't have a guy like that on the team unless his name's Akeem Williams.
Well, I mean, from an experience standpoint, if you're saying you don't care if it's a freshman, if it's McCoy or Elijah Moore, I would say Moore's skill set's different than anybody else. But, I mean, is McCoy going to make those 50-50 catches that Malik Benson would not as a true freshman?
No, that's why I keep saying they don't have a one. They don't really have. I mean, Moore has to be that guy if he's going to, because of the size, or Hakeem Williams. I guess Kentron Poitier could be, but I mean, I'm tired of waiting on Kentron Poitier and Darion Williamson. I don't know that they're going to be.
Kentron, the contested catch game it's far more his style than Darion. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Kentron is 6'3.5", 215. That's a big receiver. That's, and
he has done it. You know who we miss? And he could have been the same player 2 years later, and we could have just add him to the list. But Malik McClain, that's too bad.
I hated it when he left. But
he could have not progressed and done this whole thing that the other guys are doing. So who knows? But it felt like he was on the brink of something as he was leaving.
Jaylen Brown is 6 feet, 170. Malik Benson is the same size, basically. Ja'Kai Douglas is tiny. We're without Destin Hill for the season. Now, I know he's not a big receiver, but he's a thick receiver. He's 6 feet, 200 pounds, and he's also more dynamic athletically. Yeah. So, we don't have Destin Hill. Hakeem has to be the guy, and I don't know if he's ready. Deuce, you don't think Deuce is going to be the guy, and I love Deuce. Now, if it would be great, Deuce is 6'4", 215, and looks like a gazelle.
Well, it sounds like you're looking for a jump ball guy. That's a specialist. I mean, that can be your number one, but I mean, there are sub 6'2" receivers that are ones.
There are the special player is the one that has the combination of both great route running, size, and obviously has the height to make the big play down the field against your bigger and better corners. This is why Mike Evans is a problem.
Yeah.
When we look around the league, there are very few ones that aren't truly special in every facet of the position. Now, there are exceptions. Tyreek Hill, I guess you could say, is a one, but I mean, we don't have.
Absolutely.
I guess. I mean,
Cooper Kupp.
I mean, Waddle is probably more the one type, but yes. But the way they scheme that with Tyreek, whatever. But we don't have Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's world. So
I'm just what I'm trying to clarify and make sure is that you're not saying that Malik is in this mess of mediocrity, or are you? So,
I'm saying Malik's the best of the bunch in camp so far, but I don't think he's special.
Okay.
I don't think he's uniquely gifted. All right, because we're joking about it, because we're talking about it, yes, I bring up the fact that he had 13 catches a year ago. The reason I bring up that number is that he wasn't anything close to the guy at Alabama. He wasn't the 2, he barely the 3, right? He wasn't the guy.
Yeah.
And when you only amass 13 catches, and now you have to be the number 1 somewhere, what is reasonable to expect? Wait, is he going to go from 13 to 50? He could. But it's a big jump, so I'm saying I'm going to have to see him do it.
Sure. Yeah, I agree, but I think this would extend to the freshman discussion.
Yeah.
And if you're saying, I don't care how you get there. I mean, then he would fall almost in the same line. It's just that he's 22 or 21, whatever his age is, and he's not just fresh out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to piece this thing together and hope that somebody emerges beyond Malik. The way I'm looking at it is when they release the depth chart, there is no or underneath Malik Benson's name. But everywhere else, there could be. At all other positions, the other slot, the other out wide, you could see 3-4 names that are in there. And what I get interested in, like Mike will have his talking points tomorrow, but what I get interested in is that when they release the depth chart, are there freshmen with an or next to their name? Because to me, that indicates that they might as well be atop the list.
Mm.
Because Mike doesn't want to have to do that. He doesn't want to have to push Elijah Moore into he could be a starter designation or LaWayne McCoy. But if the designation says Kentron Portier or Elijah Moore, and it says Ja'Kai Douglas or Jalen Brown or LaWayne McCoy, which you could very well say.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that's a statement in and of itself on 2 fronts. That's a disappointing statement on the veteran side, and it's a we need you on the freshman side.
So when we talk about this, and we'll take a quick break, but and this is not a doomsday, doom and gloom discussion of receivers. It's the room that is the greatest concern going into the season. I might throw linebacker in there with it, but let's say receiver. All I'm saying is, Tom, Darion Williamson has been here forever and a day. Do you think you can trust him to be a guy? Maybe. I'm rooting for him, but he's got 9 receptions last year. Okay, so he had 9. All right. Hakeem Williams had 5. All right. I just told you Malik Benson, 13 total last year. Jalen Brown did he even play? No, he shirted, I think. Yeah, right? He shirted. Yeah, so he didn't even really get in for LSU.
Or he's a redshirt sophomore, but yeah, underclassman.
Okay, so
you weren't going to play in that receiving core last year. Oh, right. My God.
So obviously nothing from Elijah Moore because he just got here. Nothing from LaWayne McCoy because he just got here. He hasn't played a college football game. Deuce Spann had 1 reception last year. 1. Great kickoff return, but he had 1 reception. And he's a Lakewood guy. I'm a huge Deuce Spann fan. I want him to make it, but he hasn't done it. Kentron Portier had 6 receptions last year. 6. So your top,
but it's not a doomsday scenario.
It's a documentation of how inexperienced and how little those guys have all had to be dependent upon. It's a fair assessment. If you have 6, 5, 9, 1, 13 receptions, and that's your leading returning receiver, and he wasn't on your team last year, it is fair to wonder who's going to be the guy. It's fair to say who is going to take on the responsibility of quadrupling that amount of receptions and being productive. Those are candidates, and all of whom have upside, and all of whom are guys that at times you get excited about. But those are the facts. 6, 5, 1, 9, 13. These are literally the receptions that are on the roster in the rotation. 0 and 0 between McCoy, obviously, and Moore.
But we're not throwing 30 passes for the year. So it's going to come from somewhere.
Got to. Some of that will be tied in Kyle Morlock.
Yep.
Some of that will be to the backside of the backfield.
Another tight end and another tight end.
Yeah. Yes. There's no doubt. It's a fascinating discussion. It's not, I really, even though Destin Hill only had 6 receptions a year ago, 6, which would be amongst your leading returning receivers. I really thought he was on the cusp of taking off, and unfortunately, knock on wood, he's going to be back sooner rather than later. But we know he's not back in the early stages here. So A lot of guys. Now, you might yell at your radio right now or your TV and say, okay, or your computer, and you might say, well, good Lord, Jeff Ja'Kai Douglas was here. He was very productive. He had 14 receptions last year. Ja'Kai Douglas had 14 receptions, and he's 5'8". You see what I'm saying? This is why you would say, hey, man, it's going to be fascinating. That's why tomorrow's scrimmage, who are the dudes that emerge? Who are the guys? Who's Mike talking about tomorrow after that scrimmage? If it's Elijah Moore, would you be stunned? I don't know that you would be.
No, of course not. I'm one of the band leaders on the Elijah Moore wagon.
I'm a fan too.
This is important too. What words he chooses, what names he chooses. Merit's the easiest way to get your name mentioned. Mm-hmm. But I think also the head coach is keenly aware of how much Moore has been brought up, how much McCoy has been talked about in media circles. And it's not about the fans' expectations as much as it is the expectations within the locker room. Because when a coach brings up a name, the guys know. The guys know in the room. And if I'm somebody who's been here 4 years or 5 years and it hasn't happened for me, and coach keeps saying Elijah Moore is not afraid of the moment, and we're not finishing plays at receiver, like, I'm going to feel that in a different way. And so it has been,
I'm going to feel that.
It has been accumulating, though. There has been more and more that Mike has talked about more. I mean, even BJ Gibson got some run this week in press conference settings. So if he does it again,
right,
because Coach Norvell knows he doesn't want to put too much on a kid's shoulders. That's what he did after last week's scrimmage when he was talking to the media. He said that, Elijah's still got a long way to go. There's a lot to learn, but he knows how to finish plays, and he's not afraid of the moment. It's almost like there's an internal battle. He's like, man, this could work out for us, but I don't want to ruin the kid by placing too much pressure on his shoulders out the gate. It's like drafting a kicker in the NFL in the top 3 rounds of the NFL draft. I'm setting you up to fail because now you have this pressure that you should not have to bear the burden of. But if he shows that again tomorrow, and according to those practice reports, I know you guys talked about it on headlines and it's been in those practice reports. Well, nice catch by Elijah Moore from DJU.
Right.
I mean, shoot.
Yeah, who's throwing him the ball, right?
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting, but it makes you nervous all at the same time. And, you're right. Somebody is going to emerge. You can't just not throw the ball. You're going to throw the ball.
We will throw the ball.
Yeah, we're going to throw the ball.
Whose hands will we throw them at?
That's the big discussion. It's not that they can't do it. It's that none of them have had to do it, is really what I'm getting at. None of them have had to be the guy. None of them. And that's kind of unique. You went into last year, even if Keon Coleman, I know we got a break, even if Keon Coleman hadn't transferred in, you still would have had Johnny Wilson that you would have said, oh, he's been the guy. He's won games for us. But he won the Louisville game. I mean, like, that's a guy, right? I'm not saying I would have been in love with that receiving core without a second guy, but you knew at least there was a guy that had been in big moments.
And you don't want to rely. It's almost like a batting lineup that is Adam Dunn, and there's 4 of them. I need you not to all be good the same day. Because we'll win 16-2 that day.
Yeah, that day. Yeah.
I need you to spread this out. Like, I need Darion's game to be 1 week. I need Kentron's game to be another week. You need to spread this out. Unless Malik turns into that guy, or unless a young player just decides, yeah, I know what my designation says, true freshman. I don't give a damn. I'm good. So throw me the ball.
I like Dupree here saying that Destin was open a lot and Jordan forced it to his number one. I thought one of the criticisms of Jordan last year is that he did do that. He did force the ball to a couple guys. In particular, he forced the ball to Keon, and I get it. Keon's a strong personality and a bona fide stud. And I think he felt pressed to get him the ball. I'm sure it was mentioned by Keon.
I'm sure it was.
I'm sure it was a mention.
Keon was a good teammate, but also, yes, also very aware of targets.
Yeah, I think it might have been mentioned more than once. My friends at Tried and True have an ad program. They'll give you the much-needed boost and exposure your company and services need and or are able to provide for more people. Whether you have the space or need to sell more businesses, this program could be ideal for you. Ideal businesses for the free ad board would be dental or medical office, waiting room, auto repair dealerships, bars, restaurants of that like. They'll set you up for a free ad board. They'll even come in and install the television. I was told to go easy on the 80-inch televisions I was promising. More like 55-inch free TVs. which also works best for what they're trying to do. 2/3 of that is yours to put up there what you want, and they'll control it for you. Swipe that QR code that was up on the screen a moment ago. And don't forget this. My friends at Tried and True, I'm talking about Don and Joe and that entire business, they'll give 10% of their net revenue to the Battles Inn. They are Noles helping Noles make some money and do right by the Battles Inn all at the same time. Give them a call today, 844-464-6653. It's the Jeff Cameron Show on Libations Friday. Let's roll, baby.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
A proven leader and effective communicator who is ready to find solutions. My friend Rudy Ferguson is exactly who we need on the Tallahassee City Commission. Rudy is a practical thinker with real-world experience who's committed to moving Tallahassee forward responsibly. I'm Dana Brooks, and I'm with Rudy.
Thank you, Dana. I'm Rudy Ferguson, and I'm asking for your vote for Tallahassee City Commission Seat 1 on August 20th. Made by Rudy Ferguson, nonpartisan Tallahassee City Commission Seat 1.
Your friendly neighborhood bar and grill just got a whole lot closer to home. You can now order delicious Smitty's Tap House and Grill for delivery directly to your doorstep. Just visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com, click the Order Online button, and choose Pickup or Delivery. Enjoy Smitty's famous handmade pretzel with beer cheese, juicy pub burger, or even the amazing schnitzel sandwich, delivered fresh right to your doorstep. Support local and order online today for takeout or delivery at Smitty'sTapHouse.com, where everybody knows his name.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Early, your Leon County Supervisor of Elections, reminding you there are 3 ways to vote in the August 20th primary election. You can request a vote-by-mail ballot, vote in person at one of our 10 early voting sites, or vote at your neighborhood polling place on Election Day. Make sure you are election ready by double-checking that your information is up to date. If you need to update your info, request a vote-by-mail ballot, or find where to vote in person, visit us at leonvotes.gov or call us at 850-606-8683. That's 850-606-VOTE. Thank you.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to talk. Just waiting on bumper music here. Well, come on, let's get that
That's
bumper.
that's muscle memory of me being over here.
Mm-hmm. Let's get that bumper music going, Tom. What are we waiting on?
Whose bumper keeps bumping and bumping?
Let's hear something. That's right. We're not allowed to do it because of the YouTube Nazis. Or is it the Spotify gets us? Who gets us? Who dings us whenever we play music?
Either one, really. Yeah.
Son of a. It's very annoying.
We just need a BMI or an ASCAP for Electronicsville, USA.
We keep saying it's going to come down the down the road here at some point, right?
I think they want to make money. Those folks, fine folks as they are, wonderful.
It's been long enough. Let's make it happen. Hey, we got news regarding Ireland for those of you that are going. I've been asked a lot about it, and I haven't been able to give you a definitive answer. Well, that changes today, folks. Look at that place, huh? If you're not watching on Warchant TV, the name of the pub is the Old Storehouse at Temple Bar, Dublin, and it's cool, and it's going to be a fantastic time. We're looking on the screen on Warchant TV, the virtual tour of the Old Storehouse, where we'll be doing a live show. What days are we going to be there, and from what time to what time?
Okay, so first of all, Ireland 101 for y'all out there. Temple Bar is a district.
Yes, it is.
There is literally a Temple Bar in Temple Bar, but Temple Bar is a district.
Yes,
so don't search for that. Search for the Old Storehouse if you're looking for maps and directions. We will be there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday of game week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. It will be kept constant for Eastern time, which means that our show will be from 6 to 8 p.m. Over there.
Yeah.
It'll be normal time for you back in the States. 1 to 3 will be live. It'll be fun. But 6 to 8 p.m. if you're making the trip over there. And then moreover, on Friday, that is going to be an event at Old Storehouse where most of the staff that's in Ireland is going to be there to meet and greet while the show is going on. We might pull a staff member here and there to come on and join the broadcast.
Of course we will.
Itself.
It'll be fun, yeah.
But that also will be from 6 to 8 p.m. We might keep that a little bit later, 6 to 9. Nice. So we can have some time to.
Could be 1 o'clock in the morning.
Who
knows?
You just, yes. Yeah, sometimes there's meandering and crawls to be done, but yeah, at minimum 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Now, here's the important thing, and we will release this information out on the message boards and out on our social media. It says currently on the app, the Aer Lingus game app, that the Friday event is a ticketed event. It is not. We have determined. I finally got to talk to the bar owner over there rather than an email address with a bounce back. They gave me the willies. His name's Colin. Very nice gentleman.
Imagine that, an Irish dude named Colin.
Go figure. He says the capacity at the Old Storehouse is 1,500. Now, I think we'd actually still push that because Knowles in general are going to be around the area. But they'll have security at the door. This is not a ticketed event. You don't have to worry about going to a website, purchasing tickets. He is confident, the bar owner, that 1,500 will do. And there are 3 areas of the bar, 3 sections. There's a beer garden upstairs and a downstairs. So we cannot wait to see you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll talk to you more about Thursday, probably next week once I get those logistics down.
Also, James B. just helped us out. The Aer Lingus app has a link to Google Maps for the location of all the JCS shows.
There it is. Just the one thing. The one thing about that app is it says ticketed event on Friday. That is not accurate. You're good, and we'll have them remove the ticketed event little icon there.
Cool. So look forward to it. It will be a good time. Hope to see all of you. That's a fun broadcast to do. I've been fortunate in my career to do fun broadcasts from the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup Finals, numerous college national championship games, and now in Ireland from a pub in Dublin. That may be the best of the bunch.
It could very well be.
Although we had a blast in Los Angeles. We had a blast in Newport Beach. We had a blast in Chicago at the studios there at WGN. That was all that stuff was fun. I've done Denver, Pittsburgh,
Charlotte.
Well, who cares? But yeah.
But over the field because we were on the network that year.
That's true.
So you're in the press box. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was neat. But yeah, so lots of places, and now, but Dublin will be that's the highlight right there. That is cool. And I'm just talking about the camaraderie and the things that'll be going on at that time in that pub as we gear up for that game. I feel good about the game, by the way. Just to pivot here, I think Florida State is the much better football team. I think Florida State's in a position to maybe enforce their will, especially on the ground. And once you do that, really everything else opens up. So my discussion, the larger discussion of wide receiver, is less about like wringing of the hands concern that we're not going to be able to throw the football consistently. It's about trying to take what I think is going to be a very good season and turn it into a great season.
Yeah.
Turn it into another type season like we had a year ago. And the expectation is not that this team, if you look at Vegas's numbers, certainly, is not that this team is going to match a 12-0 regular season campaign with a cherry on top of your 13th win in the ACC championship game. That's not the expectation. The expectation is that you will be one of 3 teams that are favored to win the ACC, and that you should win 10 games if you're going to take the over on that win total. And that leaves you at 10-2 in the regular season. And I think that's more of a realistic expectation given all that they've lost. I'm always fighting for and looking at it through the prism of, can we go 12-0? Could we go undefeated and be a lock for the college football playoff and win back-to-back conference championships? What all has to happen? And that's through that prism is the way I view this discussion of the wide receivers. You have a ton of inexperienced guys that have never had to be the dude, and you don't have right now an emerging candidate as your typical bona fide one. Somebody's going to have to be the one, as Tom pointed out. I think it'll be Benson, but like, you don't have that guy where everybody goes, it's Keon Coleman or whomever. You know, I mean, there have been guys like that. You see it all around the country. Everybody knows the special receiver. They know the guy that defenses fear and game plan for. The game planning part of it. Who is what guy on Florida State's wide receiving core so far would a defense feel like they had to spend extra time with game planning for? And that's all I'm saying.
So my question to you would be, compare this receiving core to 2022. There was a green Johnny Wilson. There was
a very green Johnny Wilson, yes.
Micah Pittman in his one, year essentially.
Yeah.
And Pokey.
Oh yeah, no, they had to spread it all around. They didn't really have a guy either.
A little bit of Ja'Kai here and there, a little bit. Yeah. So what about this receiving core versus that one? Because they were able to produce thanks to the ground game with that core.
This group is more talented, and I think that's why you would argue against like any concern. You would say to me, well, Jeff, we were pretty nervous in 2022 too because our receivers were, and you just rattled them off, obviously. By the way, here you go.
Now we did lose 3 games that year.
We sure did. You want to have some fun with this? Your leading receiver by game, Duquesne, Portier, 84 receiving yards. LSU, Wilson, 102 receiving yards. Louisville, Wilson.
That was Pokey in the
sorry, I should designate. You're right. Yeah, Pokey followed by, obviously Johnny. Then it's Darion Williamson against Boston College.
Yeah, it's 90 whatever yards.
At 98. Then it's Micah Pittman against Wake Forest. Then it's one of the Wilsons for 60. Then it's 75 yards for Wilson against Clemson in a loss. Then it's 111 against Georgia Tech. It's Wilson again. So you got Wilson.
Well, yeah, you should have had a Johnny with a lot more. Jordan missed him on 4th down.
That's right. Then it's Toa Feely against Miami. Then it's Ja'Kai Douglas against Syracuse with 43 receiving yards. Then it's Portier again with a robust 45 yards receiving against Louisiana. And then it's leading receiver Benson out of the backfield with 51 receiving yards against Florida. So you're right. And then it's Johnny Wilson going butt crazy with 202 against Oklahoma in the bowl game.
Yeah, that's correct.
But yeah, so this group is deeper and more talented. Which of those guys, if not multiple guys, are going to show up and lead the way? That'll be fun to see. By the way, the splits on that season are a lot of fun, too, at running back, because if you look at the leading rushers, Trayshawn Ward to start the year.
Yep.
Then it's Benson. Then it's Trayshawn Ward. And it's Jordan Travis. And then it's Benson. It's like, oh, we found our guy.
Is Malik Benson better than Pokey Wilson? Asks famous Jameis. In your estimation, as we stand here before he plays out a season where he's going to start.
I just don't like dissing Pokey Wilson. How many times did Pokey Wilson show up for us, man? That dude in every big game made a play.
So I guess that means yes, Malik is better.
Is he more talented is probably the better way to say it. I think he's more talented, but I don't know, man.
He seems springy to me. Springy. Got the ball in his hands. He loves the spin move.
He's very springy.
Yeah.
Pokey Wilson, man, in that game think about Pokey Wilson in that game against LSU. We go up to New Orleans and we're all scared to death of like who's going to be the guy. And, is Jordan ready for prime time? Turns out he was. We win the game. Exhilarating fashion, 24-23, blocked extra point, tried to give it away.
Did give away Fabian Lovett's perhaps his college career.
Yeah. The first half, though, Jordan is on fire and looks great, and they're throwing the kitchen sink at him, and it's a revelation that Jordan has taken this huge step. But it's freaking Pokey Wilson who has over 100 yards receiving in that game. I just don't want to just disrespect Pokey for all these big moments in big games that he's helped us win. Was Benson maybe more talented, but he's never had to do this.
No, I don't think the question by nature is a disrespectful one. It's like, what is he? Because
he's springy, bouncy. Yeah. Pokey was blazingly fast, though.
Yeah.
I don't know that Benson's faster than Pokey.
There's also something that we probably need to revisit here because you mentioned Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and the Dolphins offense. Recall that Pete Thamel, when he was reporting on the sidelines from the spring showcase, said that in the meetings, the coaching staff, Mike Norvell and staff, were talking about trying to add an element of what the Miami Dolphins do to this offense with the speed. And they line up those guys all over the place. There are jet actions, weird motions, all kinds of stuff. I thought that was a slip up on the coaching staff's part, but this is the personnel that we have. When Malik is that fast and Jalen Lucas is that fast, and so is Jalen Brown. And Ja'Kai can be a wildcatish kind of player, and Lawrence can be that type of player. Sam Singleton's got straight ahead blazing speed. That's another element to this. There's more than one way. You don't have to be pro style with large dudes like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin or Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson to get the job done.
Oh, we had giants out there last year. That is much more enjoyable for me to see coming off the bus as a fan. Like you watch 6'7" and 6'4" walk off the bus, you go, oh, okay. And this is a matchup problem, whereas it's not the same with our current crop unless Hakeem emerges because he looks like an NFL wide receiver.
Yep.
He's the only guy that looks like an NFL wide receiver. When you see him, you're like, ooh, look at that dude. Destin does too to an extent, but he's not playing. So.
No, he looks built for speed. Yeah.
Yeah, Destin's dense. He looks like he could be a problem for you.
Yeah.
All the other guys are like, you're scared to death if you're in space, but it's a tough target. Yeah, it's a tough target. I will say Oregon State had a bunch of tiny receivers.
DJ's got to think these dudes are super tall, even though they're not what we had last year.
So he's got to be like, all right, well, I can handle 5'9", 5'10", 5'8". I've had to do it before. So, that is helpful. That is helpful. What's helpful is when you're not chafed.
Ooh, yeah.
Walking around in this heat, nobody wants to deal with that. You get yourself the Crop Soother. That's right. The Crop Soother is like aftershave lotion for the boys. You can get the Crop Preserver, which is anti-chafing. That's the deodorant for the boys after you've got the salve for the boys. You throw on those Boxers 2.0 and you're good to go. You're walking around feeling good. And, oh, by the way, the Weed Whacker, you got the unnecessary hair in your ears or your nose, places you're not trying to grow hair and draw attention. The Weed Whacker will take care of it. The lawnmower will take care of it. And you can do all of this for 20% off, free shipping. Use the code WARCHANT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code WARCHANT. It's a good summer. Get you that Manscaped. Get you those Boxers and the Preserver and the Soother. Make sure you're walking around comfortable, and you're doing it by saving a bunch of money. 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com.
Local news now.
A man was arrested late Wednesday morning for a shooting that happened on the south side of Thomasville earlier in the day. John Wesley Sharp Jr. was arrested a little after 11 a.m. for his involvement in a shooting that happened in the area of Fern Street and Florida Avenue. There is no further information available at this time. The Suwannee County Animal Shelter is calling on people across the Big Bend in South Georgia to consider stepping up to help foster or adopt from their shelter in the wake of Debbie. Staff are still working hard even though they are experiencing no power in hot and humid conditions. Their
50 dogs at the animal shelter are needing their forever home. Shelter staff are asking the community for help to either foster or adopt animals to help alleviate some of the stress from Hurricane Debbie. They're also accepting donations of puppy pads or wet foods, and they have a full list of things they could use on their Facebook page. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 7 p.m. tonight. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 95. Winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms, 77. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 92.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yep,
and then
Yeti.
Here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And,
I've never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, you get the old 3-minute segment because we have been knee-deep in this discussion about Florida State, its receivers, and the season at hand, which, oh, by the way, I think is going to be a good one. I feel good. At this age of camp, I'll feel better if we get through Saturday. That is tomorrow. We get through tomorrow's scrimmage and everybody gets out of there healthy. I feel like this is the last, like maybe not the last, but one of the last health hurdles.
Yeah, we feel almost ready for that final W's and L's. There's just a little bit more information to come in, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that I need to see healthy.
Yeah, participate.
Participate is kind of maybe the way to go with that. A couple of guys I need to see participate, and then another couple of guys to show me how far along they really are. And that's something that just takes all camp. That's not anybody's fault. If young guys are going to play any kind of a role for you, you really, you owe it to them to give them all camp to figure this all out. So,
well, and look, it could be somebody that you just mentioned in the beginning. Coach Norvell said yesterday that Marvin Jones Jr. had been limited because of a rolled ankle just before camp.
Yeah.
You do want to see, is he going to be 100% to start the season? Or is this going to be a lingering thing? These are the little details that you're looking for.
There have been a lot of guys like that he has mentioned by name. And some of the guys that we were worried about coming into camp that have got back and been healthy all along. Robert Scott being chief amongst them. Robert Scott's a guy that they've tried to hold out for a couple of years now, or a year and a half now. And I've been very cynical about that. I've thought, at this point, I don't know that I can trust him, but I'll be honest with you. It's been great to see Robert Scott out there and playing every day.
That's going to be fascinating too, isn't it? The offensive line depth chart.
What if I root for these guys. This is a team of really good dudes.
It is.
And so there's so many guys you're rooting for just because they're good players and I want to win. So it starts with that. But then if they happen to be really nice guys and hard workers, you want that rewarded. And, man, Robert Scott's a good kid, a grown-ass man, really. And he's played a ton of football. And he's been good when he plays. When he plays, he's good. He doesn't play a lot. And I'm rooting for that guy because I think a lot of people might have hung it up dealing with all that he dealt with a year ago. So let's hope he stays this way right now. He's been good this camp.
Well, and also on that chart, I don't think there's going to be an or underneath Darius Washington's name at
No,
left
there's
tackle.
definitely not.
Not if you've knighted him the way that Mike Norvell has. But at right tackle, how many ors are there?
3.
One, right?
3. Yeah, I think
well,
there's
meaning 3 total names.
3
2
total
ors,
names. 2 ors. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
2 ors and 3 total names. Byers will be on that list either as
Robert-
the starter
Robert should
or
be.
Robert Scott will, and
Maybe early.
maybe, yeah, maybe. I you could have more.
Just judging by guys that they've talked up, I'm not even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would tell you that I kind of don't think there's going to be an or next to Richie Leonard's name.
Shouldn't be.
He's been a dude. He has been a dude. So, Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hour number 2 on Live Nations Friday forthcoming. Stay with.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping.
Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps.
Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors.
And we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless.
Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
Hello, Leon County. Let's get ready to win with Ken. I'm Ken Preston. I want to be your next Leon County property appraiser. I'm driven, committed, experienced, and a dedicated community.
We are here, ladies and gentlemen, in Jacksonville, but we're at Everbank Stadium. Oh, you're fine. Let's go watch these guys stretch and practice. Aggressive today with that water gun. Charles Lester back in return and punts. Like this, don't we like this, everybody? Quick reps. Everybody's getting involved. Sadness. Jalen Brown. If we can get in focus. There we go. Jalen Brown, I mean. Did I say Jalen Lucas? I meant Jalen Brown, everybody. Lorraine McCoy. A walk-on. And BJ Gibson. Get some laces here, boys. Oh, look at that. Shout out to the guy who complains about how tight I shoot, by the way. Oh, look at that.
Turn your hands over. Turn your hands over.
All right, we're going to get our one rep of Kyle Morlock. Maybe we'll get another one? All right. The siren went up. We're going to cheat. We're cheating. All right, we're done. We'll see you tomorrow.
0003 Weston Treywick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontreywick.com.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Burned by last year's snub, which we've talked about ad nauseum. I don't want to necessarily bring back up, but it'll always factor in the way you think about what's going to happen if you're a team that doesn't have an automatic bid and you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten. If you're not in one of those two conferences, we know the way this works. Then all of a sudden you get nervous. You know, you think that you could get squeezed out for a 3 or 4 loss SEC team is the way you think about it. Like, right? I mean, let's be honest about that.
My joking answer is Ole Miss 8-4?
Right.
Because if Ole Miss is 8-4, we're not getting in.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the whole, okay, well, we saw what could be done. And when the beauty contest is weighted, it's tough to overcome that. I mean, that's not going to be a fun thing to have to consider. Just win the conference. Just go ahead and win the conference. Easiest path, obviously. Listen. So this informs the conversation about the fact that if you want the ACC to be a 2-bid league, then you need, oddly enough, the ACC's out of conference games to go the ACC's way, which means you then have to pull for Miami to beat Florida. You'd have to go through all of the non-conference ACC games and say
didn't do us any good last year.
It didn't. There are 12 teams, however, Tom, getting into the playoff this year. So I'll just say that's the way you would have to look at it, is that you need the ACC to win games out of conference against other Power 4 opponents. The most obvious one is right out the gates with Miami and Florida. I don't tend to do that because I don't root for the conference. I don't care about the conference. I have no allegiance to the conference. I care about Florida State. I love Florida State. And for the Noles, it's about obviously taking care of business and making sure that you punch your own ticket. But obviously, you want as many paths to that playoff as possible.
I think the way that 10-2 with those parameters works, and thanks again for the donation, Sean.
Yep. Let's see. Let me look at it again. He said, if you lose the road Miami game and you lose at home to Clemson, but you beat Notre Dame on the road and you go 10-2, which basically means
you're not playing in Charlotte, so you're done.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. You're done. You will have at that point wins over, and again, we don't project Florida to have a good season. I'm just looking at out-of-conference wins against SEC foes and other prominent programs. Notre Dame is not an ACC team, but it's a prominent top 10 program this year with an easy schedule. So if you got that win, you're probably going to beat a team that ends up with a really good record and ends up ranked highly. And then you would have a win over Florida. And you'd have what's your most significant win at that point? Probably
SMU.
Yeah, I guess.
Because of their soft schedule, so they might be ranked well.
If Memphis is the best of the group of 5, that might look like a good win for you, but there's not a lot of meat on the bone beyond those wins.
No, the only way that works is an unlikely, very unlikely scenario, but that Miami and Clemson play each other in Charlotte as undefeated teams, and Notre Dame has 1 loss, and it's to you. So Notre Dame's 11-1. The 2 teams you lost to were undefeated and playing in Charlotte. You're 10-2, the victim of a tough schedule. This is the way you'd have to phrase it. This is the way you have to frame it. And you did go on the road and get that win over Notre Dame. So I can't put Notre Dame in over Florida State. They beat them head-to-head, which they would do anyway because of the Invitational. And Notre Dame is, there's a lot of teams that apparently they like more than us. But the only way that works is if Miami kicks ass all year long, Clemson kicks ass, and so does Notre Dame. It's the only way that 10-2 can be viewed as strong enough, especially given what happened to us last year.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tom. Man, do you have a scenario in your mind, and we'll do wins and losses next week, W's and L's after this scrimmage, right? Mm-hmm. As you talked about. Can't you see a scenario where Clemson, Florida State, Miami, I don't know about a 4th team, but are all right there with the same record?
Oh, yeah. You
could absolutely see that.
It's because a lot of these conference games are spread out, meaning the schedules.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of crossover. SMU doesn't play Miami, Clemson, or they play us, and they don't play any of those 2 teams. Miami does not play Clemson head-to-head. So there's that. Virginia Tech's schedule looks somewhat manageable. SMU's, again, as I said in the beginning, the only team they play of anything is us.
Yeah.
So you could see a lot of 1-loss teams
inflated records without having played the upper echelon.
Meanwhile, we'll have played SMU on the road, Clemson and Miami. That's the difficulty here. You have to win 2 out of those 3 games. You have to win 2 out of those 3 games. Irrespective of Notre Dame. You have to win 2 out of those 3 games.
Right. And look, again, Notre Dame's not a conference game. You need
to get to Charlotte.
You need it. Yeah.
Now, if you're 11-1 and you go to Charlotte with a win over Notre Dame, So let's say you could pick your loss, SMU, Clemson, or Miami. One of those three you lose, but you beat Notre Dame in November. Chicago trip might be on the horizon.
You're talking about the at-large bid.
I think you're in. No matter what happens in the ACC championship game, I do believe you're in at that point because the win over Notre Dame at 11-1 is a much stronger poker chip than 10-2.
At Florida, by the way, the first game for Miami, and we know that game already. Go back through. You talked about their schedule a moment ago. They do play at Louisville. They do obviously host us. The only other I say the only other losable game. That's not true. I mean, they could find ways to lose games they ought not lose. It's kind of what they do. They do host Virginia Tech in a night game. And that Virginia Tech team last year really basically posted the Florida State game. And even for that game in the second half, I mean, second quarter on into early into the third, they gave problems for Florida State.
Yeah.
Once they got down 22-0, that game kind of turned. So I suppose you could circle that one. If you're being really honest, that South Florida team had Alabama on the ropes. It was 10-10 in the second half of that game.
They had a playoff team on the road.
Let's not forget that Alabama team was tied with South Florida on the road there, 10-10 into the second half. So
I really wish we could have seen. I know there are bowl rules. If you lose too many games, you can't play in them. But I mean, come on now. Auburn was one of the top 25 teams in the country. And I think what did USF show you that day? USF is one of the best 25 teams in the country. I would have loved to see a bowl game between Auburn and USF. Would have been a great game.
By the way,
given the test they gave Alabama.
Also, just should be duly noted that the last 5 games for Miami last year, just kind of fun to document again. A loss to NC State, a loss to FSU, a loss to Louisville. They did beat Boston College, but lost to Rutgers.
Didn't remember that.
The South Florida list of games, Tom. If you go back to November of last year, they lost 59-50 to Memphis, beat Temple 27-23 in a war, lost to my boys at UTSA 49-21, got housed.
This is USF?
USF, the same team that was tied with Alabama at 10
right.
in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Did beat Charlotte and did beat Syracuse soundly. People forget Syracuse was reeling at the end of last year.
I mean, how much worse was Alabama's offense than Memphis offense? 59 points.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I'm confused, though. I'm honestly, because I thought quarterback play was what got Alabama in.
So, I don't know that they said that, but yes, it's. That's
they did.
They said quarterback play is what kept us from being in.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Quarterback play. Yeah, so Alabama has
it. They could have just said their name is Alabama. It's Nick's last year.
I'm working with him next year, so I'm picking him.
That's what they could have just said.
Can you? I mean, listen. I wish they had the audio of Herbie and Fowler when he's jumping around like a schoolgirl in hopscotch. Can you believe our colleague is going to do it? All right.
They were jumping up and around.
Our colleague.
Yeah.
It's our new teammate.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was all-time good. Over under 64%, 63% completion percentage for DJ this year.
It's a big percentage change. I'm glad you brought it down.
Yeah, 63%. What do you say?
Over.
Okay.
Like how quickly I said that?
I do. That's exciting to hear, that kind of confidence out of you, buddy, for DJ, because of the offense.
I think there's going to be a lot of completions at or near the line of scrimmage.
I hear you. I was going to say over 2. What I was going to put it, I should have put it at 63.5 just to see if you'd go as high as 64, but you're clearly going above that.
63.2. That's the number.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Yeah. I think it sounds like you're going over 64.
63.2. There will be some games where it looks like we're trying to tinker. You know, we've won the game, that we're taking some deep shots. Hey, man, just run the ball. Let's finish the game. But they're working on things. And so that's the post-game show. You got to put that aside. Mike's trying to work on some things, get sharper, more tools for the chest. So he took that drive, even though we were up 17 and it could have gotten dicey. He threw those 3 passes down the field. We didn't complete any of them.
Congrats to the U.S. women. Sha'Carri Richardson securing the gold for the United States in the women's 4x100 relay today.
Nice.
Kick-ass. Happy for her. Happy for them. That's awesome. And they took the track for the last time in Paris and said, get you some.
You see there's a knoll in front in golf right now?
I did not.
Morgan Matreau.
Really?
Yeah, Switzerland for the women. 9 under. They're playing 4 rounds. Can't believe it.
All 4 rounds, really?
They're playing 4 rounds. So she's tied for the lead going into the final day.
Let's go.
FSU's own.
Let's go. I got distracted in the middle of doing the show. It truly is loosey-goosey. I was watching the I was watching the replay of the race with Shikari, and the speed. Well, first of all, obviously, we all know when we watch these things, you're in awe. I think it has to do with 2 things. They're really fast, and that camera angle that captures them from the side, that's like a drone, or it's like horse racing where they have the camera along the side that it's just right down the line of all the combatants. When you see how fast and technically sound they run, you're in. I could watch that all day long. And it's something, I don't know if it's just because I'm a dude and I saw a lot of fast people that when I played sports with and against and all that. I'm more amazed by watching, not that the men aren't incredible. Obviously, no, a lot of those guys are unreal. But when they show that shot down the line with the women, I'm more amazed. It seems to be almost more graceful and beautiful to watch. I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about like the way, the stride, something about it.
You're too young to be creepy old Uncle Jeff. You're too young.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean. Yeah.
So do you think, I don't know what the times are on the 4x100, but if Florida State's Mekhi Danzy, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Lucas, and Malik Benson were in that event, they're not going to win gold, I don't think. But where would they place? Think they place top 10? Because we got some people who can run now.
The U.S. won 41.78. That's what they ran. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what they won. Great Britain, 41.85 was second.
You need Mekhi in the anchor position to do some work.
You would. I don't know. I can't say.
They could beat 50. They could beat 50.
Hell yes. Oh, yes. Well, they'd be right there, Tom. Now, let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
They'd be right there. I just don't know enough about what all those other guys run to say for sure. I'd need to.
Well, Jalen flies.
I know Jalen flies. I know Mekhi flies.
So it's about Malik and Jaylen Brown.
Malik's fast as hell now. I'm not saying he's not fast.
And limited viewing for me, but Jaylen Brown in the jet game and in the showcase was very impressive.
They've got I want to revisit this for a second because I think people hear what they want to hear a lot of times, and I also maybe don't always, in the certain circumstance, specifically spell out what I'm saying. Please understand, I very well recognize that Florida State went out and got a ton of speed for this receiving corps. It's one of the things I'm most excited about. They were lacking speed last year. They had a real hard time stretching the field last year. They had dudes that could go up and win contested footballs. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Keon Coleman wasn't running away from people. He could, but he didn't every week. That wasn't his forte. He wasn't out there running 4.35. We know that. We saw him at the combine. Hell, we know what he ran, right? He's not a blazingly fast guy. He's fast. Unbelievable athlete, big and strong, really good body control, makes contested catches, runs great. He's all those things, but you would never say that guy's blazingly fast. The way you say Tyreek Hill is blazingly fast.
Sure.
Very different kinds of receivers. So let me clarify this. I get that, you don't have to be 6'4" to be a number one. And the Tyreek Hill thing's a good example. Somebody brought it up earlier, and I meant to revisit it and just clarify what I'm saying. Yes, I mean, what did Tyreek Hill have last year? 1,700 yards receiving, more than that, something like more than that. It's obscene. He's obviously a superstar, and he would be a one. Yes, he'd be considered a one. When I say one, a lot of times, and this is probably not an apt descriptor as I should say. I should figure out a different way to say it. I'm thinking about the guys that win contested balls because of the physicality, because they are just bigger and stronger and taller and longer. That's not the way that you can succeed at receiver, clearly. Many ways. Tyreek just runs past bitches. He's also schemed wide the hell open by a really fun offensive mind in McDaniel. But I'm talking about the guys where, okay, nobody's open, but I've got one-on-one, and I'm going to throw it up to Keon Coleman like we did against Clemson. because I trust that he's going to make that. That touchdown in the back of the end zone against LSU is as well covered, and their secondary wasn't good, but that is as well covered as you'll see. And I guess my point was, and I didn't describe it right, Tyreek Hill's not making that catch. You better scheme him open. You better let him get it in space and run away from people.
Or drop it in the bucket through good coverage, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Hand fighting.
Right. And physically just pushing a dude off of you, just being that kind of guy. Again, there's real value, unbelievable value, millions of dollars worth of value to what Tyreek does. But there are different kinds of players. That's all I'm saying is, like, who's that guy for this group where when things are getting shut down and you're having a hard time getting guys in space, who are the guys that you trust to just go make a catch? And they had two dudes like that a year ago. They'll have Kyle Morlock this year because 6'7", 6'7".
Right.
I'm sorry. Good luck. I know you know where I'm going. I'm 6'7".
I think your three candidates on this team are Malik Benson and Kentron and Elijah Moore. To be determined on Hakeem. But I think Malik he can win contested catches. I know Kentron can, but I'm not talking about with consistency. I'm not talking about it's third and obvious and everybody knows the ball is going to this player. I'm not saying that scenario. Anquan Bolden in the Super Bowl from Joe Flacco. Everybody knows where the ball is going. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's in the red zone. Everything's covered. Take a shot at the end zone. Yeah, my top candidates are in no particular order: Benson, Kentron, and then Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's already that to me. That's a very specialized role. I'm not talking about between the 20s that he's going to be a starter, but I think he belongs already in the red zone doing those types of things.
Yeah. You really think Benson's going to be that guy?
I think he's capable of it, yeah. Again, limited sample from what I've seen, but I've seen him make contested catches, back shoulder, type throws, one of which was in the showcase. Don't get mad at me, Florida State. It was in the showcase. It was actually kind of a front shoulder. It was on a third down. Yeah, I've seen him do it.
I hope so. I mean, that would be an emergence and something else we saw. I mean, then we've seen from him in the past. He might be able to. I like Benson a lot, by the way. I want to continue to say that. He's had good practices. He's been very good. He's been dependable. He's been pretty consistent compared to the other receivers who have good days, bad days, good days, bad days, good days, bad days. He's been rock solid in that sense. I don't want people to get the wrong idea of my impressions of Benson. Just that, he doesn't fit that mold that I'm talking about as, oh, well, throw it up because that dude's 6'6", that dude's 6'5", that dude's 6'4". He'll make the play. I mean, that's the problem with a really elite and talented 5'9" corner.
Yeah,
Greg Reed was always going to be victimized by a 6'4" receiver who was talented, right?
Sure.
So yeah, you're not. Greg was immensely talented. He's not going to win that battle.
So the thing is, that specific role, of course, you want a receiver who can do it all. Of course, everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
That specific role isn't too much for a freshman to me. It's a very simple thing. It's like a rebounding.
Yeah.
It's like you're rebounding and you're playing pickup. There's nothing. I mean, that's why Greg Carr was awesome. Greg Carr, I get it. Downtown, up top. Well, that's what he did. You just throw it up to Greg Carr, fade balls in the back of the end zone. Like, he wasn't going to be an NFL stud, but you could at least do that much. If it's 3rd and goal from the 7, roll Elijah Moore's ass out there. Go for it. He doesn't need to know about sight adjusts. It's inside leverage, outside leverage from the corner, and which way am I going to go? Here comes the ball, back pylon. Go make a play. I mean, before Johnny was refined, he did that at Louisville. Now, he had even 3 more inches of height, but I mean, I don't think that's asking too much from a specialized player.
And your receiving core can be made up of lots of different types of people. So, for example, we don't have to have just jump ball receivers. Somebody asked me that just a moment ago in the chat. Like, when did we just start needing jump ball receivers? This isn't about needing. It's what you would like to have in addition to all of the other things. So when you have a catch and run receiver, right? Like a guy that you get the ball out to quickly in space, your hope with that kind of elusiveness, that make you miss in a phone booth type guy,
yeah,
like Cheetah, like somebody like Tyreek Hill, right?
Oh, man.
Well, that's a problem. Good luck, because you make one man miss and it's gone. He's going to beat you. You don't have the angle. He's that kind of fast. He's breathtakingly fast.
It's any kind of screen. It's a bubble. It's a tunnel screen.
Oh, it's all that.
It's a slant.
Yes, and
We've got some tunnel screen personnel here.
And you can make hay with that. But you also want guys that win down the field.
Yeah.
You want that kind of balance. Sometimes winning down – look, man, it's not like Randy Moss fooled people. There were routes Randy would not run, didn't want to get hit in the middle of the field. Famously, Randy was kind of limited in his routes. He was also a freak of nature that is winning the kind of ball at a rate that he's now nicknamed for than anybody else. I'm not saying would have been nice to have a Randy Moss. We would all want that, but you can have that in conjunction with other types of receivers. And I'm not expecting us to go out and have that. I am saying that there are guys down the field. It's one-on-one. We've looked the safety off, and I've got 6'4" with a 40-inch vertical going against whoever the hell you want at corner.
Yeah.
Good luck. Throw it up. We don't have that guy on this year's team is what I'm saying. We had it last year. Now, granted, he became a little less of a weapon because of the injury. Both guys got injured. I mean, Johnny got injured and missed, 2 games with the concussion and had the other issues. So, we missed some time.
He was making hands catch after hands.
Oh, man, he was really, really about to get it, right? And Keon made countless catches like that. I mean, to the point where we got mad, where we would come in here on a Monday and be like, well, I guess we're just a jump ball offense now. That's not your whole offense. You don't need that to be you don't want that to be your whole offense at all. You want the balance. That's true. But it was kind of cool when you were like, I'm in trouble here, but I got him.
Yeah.
And it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
Throw it up.
One of the actually most difficult ones was the 4th down catch first drive against Boston College to Johnny on the left sideline.
That catch was tough.
It was impossible.
That's a great catch.
You have to be every bit of his height. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have that. I'm saying we might still have that as a specialist, just not somebody who's out there on every play.
We might have we have a few candidates emerging there. Yeah, there's at least 2. And then if anybody else comes along for the ride, first of all, to have that that parameter, like the size and length and all of that. Kentron has some of that. Darion has some of that. I don't know if we can trust them to be that, but if they're healthy and they play well, then all of a sudden you're not limited in that arena. All of a sudden you've got if we're given best case scenarios, you've got Hakeem. So he emerges, let's say.
Yep.
Well, good luck there. That's a big physical dude, right?
Certainly, at least as a blocker.
And I'm saying, like, let's just say he continues, emerges, right? So you have that. Moore is that as well. If Darion and Kentron have a healthy year and can be depended upon, they're big receivers. So, there's no shortage of that. I agree. We got to see it. I keep saying it. We got to see it. I'm really hopeful. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
With bachelor's and law degrees from Florida State University, he's a small business owner in Tallahassee who's worked in courts all over Florida. A trial lawyer who works in Leon County Court every day. A husband and father tied to our community, a pro bono award winner with a commitment to giving back. And if elected with your help and your vote, a Leon County judge. Vote Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, Seat 4.
Paid for and approved by Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, Seat 4.
Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, got to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. It's MillerSeptic.com.
Every journey starts with a first step, a daring step. But what they don't say about first steps is that you have to keep going, taking step after step, and eventually you take a big leap, accomplishing more than you ever thought possible. After 57 years, Tallahassee Community College is soaring even higher, and we're now officially Tallahassee State College. We invite you to take a step and visit Tallahassee State College. Learn more at tsc.fl.edu.
Gummit. Looks like we're not taking the RV anywhere this weekend. The repair shop won't even answer the phone.
If this sounds like your RV mechanic, you need a better mechanic. Call Florida Georgia Mobile RV Service to get all the repairs and maintenance you need to keep your RV in shape year-round. Awnings, converters, electrical work, generators, hydraulics, roof leaks, plumbing, leveling, slide-outs, winterizing. We literally do it all, no matter what make or model RV you have. And we can do most repairs same day or within a few days. We can service your RV at home, storage lot, or even at your campground, and accept warranties and service plans. Plus, mention this ad and we'll give you a free roof inspection or AC performance inspection. Call us at 850-210-4244. That's 850-210-4244. Or just fill out the request form online at FloridaGeorgiaMobileRV.com. That's FloridaGeorgiaMobileRV.com.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Let's get into the retirement red zone. Our friends at Artisan Financial Strategies. Love partnering with them. Our fellow Noel, Adam Tolliver, and his team at Artisan Financial Strategies, coaching you in the red zone, retirement red zone. Obviously, whether you're at midfield or actually down there around the goal line, you want to know that you can protect you and your family. Don't want to run out of money, perhaps protecting yourself from rising healthcare costs, carefully planning your legacy, whatever it might be. Make sure you go to NoelRetirement.com. By the way, if you do go to NoelRetirement.com, you'll see the scoring in the red zone feature there, building a winning game plan. They'll help you out with investment management, risk management, estate and legacy planning, as I said, financial planning, business succession and exit strategies, and the like. All you got to do is put your email in there, and they'll give you that readiness assessment, I should say. Cue it up, Tom. Well, I like the psychedelic furs, but that is not.
That is tremendous.
That is tremendous.
It literally says red zone.
Great song. Great song.
I didn't play it long enough for it to zap us, which is good.
Yeah.
I'll do this a different way.
All right. Go the other route, and we'll do it from there. Let's have some fun.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
What do we got on first down?
All right. So, easy question, maybe a complicated answer. First down. The player that we are talking about the most on Monday because of the coaching comments is who?
Who's the interview with? Mike?
We get Mike and Alex. Now, in fairness, we do get Fuller on Monday after practice. So Adam Fuller will have spoken. So before we get to our time on the air, we'll have heard from both coordinators. So you can add Fuller in there if you like.
That's a fun one because, I got to be honest with you. I'd love for them to continue to talk about Cam Riley at linebacker. I wouldn't that be awesome as he continues to emerge? I mean, there aren't many people like him on this roster at that position, 6'5", 240, sideline to sideline.
I'd love to hear about Devontae Brown. I want to hear about, or a safety. Just give me Barker, give me Brown, give me Hussey.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Barker, but
Amarian, I don't care. Whoever. Just say, boy, he had a great day playing safety for us. Fill in the blank. Give me that guy.
All right, so at nickel, it's Earl Little Jr., which we know, and he's very good, and I have a lot of faith in him kicking ass. Shaheem Brown, who we know is very good, and I've got a lot of faith in him kicking ass this year. The starting corners, who we really know are going to kick some ass, whether that's Fintrell or Azarier. And then from there, like you said, Devontae Brown's a good one. I think he's probably going to be the starter. But if you're going after that, that's fine with me. If you want to talk about perhaps Hussey, I wouldn't be surprised if to some degree you hear KJ Kirkland's name, who's been really good. So, okay, these are all guys too, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got dudes, man. They got a lot of guys back there.
That's a position where I don't want it to be a committee. I want a guy. Like you're talking about receiver and you want somebody to step up and be your number one. I don't want to rotate back there. If at all possible, they will, it sounds like, but I would just like to hear, boy, I got to tell you, we hadn't mentioned it at practice, but it had been 2-3 days in a row and at the scrimmage again. Here's Devontae Brown. Here's Conrad Hussey.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was Devontae Brown. He's played a ton of football.
He would have the trust of his position coach. That's for sure.
He's also 6'2", 200. He's a big dude for that position, man. Is Hussey mature enough to handle it now?
Yeah.
Is that where he's at?
He's athletic enough.
Oh, he's definitely athletic enough. But is he mature enough to handle it now? Sure. I like the nomination there. I think that's fine. Let's see. Somebody else that you'd like him to talk about. I've been so impressed this camp with Richie Leonard. He's probably, in my mind, been the most physically consistent and dominant player on the offensive line. Darius is I like Darius. I know what we're going to get from Darius. I'm not worried about Darius, left tackle, but I think Richie's been a mauler.
He has been lauded many times.
He has been really good. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're still bragging about him. And then the other thing I'd like to see, I'll tell you what, if we're being really honest.
This is a good first down answer.
If we're being really honest, I hope he's talking about DJ.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he's talking about how confident, how sure of his decision-making.
Took over a stretch.
Yeah, how good his throws, consistent his throws are. I think that the fan base will say Hakeem Williams. Again, that's probably not fair.
Second down. Over under 57.5 yards for the longest field goal made this season.
Under.
Really?
I mean, they're both capable. The freshman's capable for sure. He's made a 70-yarder in high school, right? And he's made like a 60-something yarder out there in practice.
I could see us try a 59, 60-yarder before the half, and they roll the freshman out there.
Yeah, I think the odds are probably in my favor, but you might be right. I'll take the under 57.5 yards.
Seeing if you're feeling froggy.
No, I wish. I think they both have the leg for it.
Third down.
Yeah.
Your third favorite defensive end, edge player for Florida State is?
Oh, that is interesting. Obviously, the top two are Patrick Payton and Marvin Jones Jr. My third favorite?
Yeah, this isn't about the third best, because that's just go straight subjective here instead of quasi-subjective.
Sione Lolahea.
Why is that?
I think he can set the edge.
Okay. So you like him early downs or short yardage?
Yeah.
We really should be pretty set against any type of run on any down.
He's a 270-pound defensive end.
You got him and Durajaye and Marvin Jones and Jackson and Farmer. I mean, man,
Yeah. Even Grady Kelly's big ass.
It's 3rd and goal from the 2. Like, you better throw.
Yeah, you got 6'2", 300 up there, and Grady Kelly's. I need to see. I'll tell you what I want to see too. I hope we talk a little bit at some point. If Daniel Lyons can take a big step forward, that'd be good too. Not off the edge. Obviously, he's a defensive tackle.
Sure, he's more of a disruptor than he is a stuffer.
Yeah,
as a player,
at
least before this camp.
But that's my answer.
Okay.
Sione.
So 4th down, fan down. Briley's back again. We're have to start broadcasting this. Going to spread the love a little bit. But
all right.
Good job, Briley. Does Norvell come out of the second scrimmage with a solid idea of his top 4 wide receivers, and does that become evident in reps at practice this week? Now, of course, we can't answer the second part of it after the fact, but he's saying, do you think that they shrink the rotation essentially in practice this week?
The top 4?
Mm-hmm.
No.
How about 5? I think there are 5 dudes that are working with the ones more often after this weekend.
So let me ask you, are we going to go through this as the X and the Z and the slot? I mean, are we going to how are we doing this?
So this is,
how do you want to rate this?
I would rate it as, this is the honor system, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they do with 11 on 11s. They have the third period of practice, and then sometimes they'll return to it for more than others. Some days they'll do more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But when the ones are out there, typically, the O-line is as follows.
Yeah.
The running back is as follows. The tight end.
Mm-hmm.
The receiver rotation. Do you think that, maybe when the ones roll out this upcoming week, it's typically, as long as there's no bangs and bruises, like,
are we going to, how many receivers are on the field in this particular formation?
Go with 3. Let's go with
3.
I
was going to say, how many receivers are on the field in this formation?
One back, one tight.
Okay.
You think it's the same 3?
I think it's Benson, Ja'Kai, and
right. So Briley's question is, do you think this weekend might help you with, it's just going to be him? Okay. I see.
The hard part of answering this, I know what they want it to be, but the hard part of answering this is, guys, this is not a secret. So I'm trying to answer where I don't get us in trouble. They've had too many candidates miss a little time.
Yeah, they're trying to get Kentron back healthy.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
He's a candidate. Hakeem.
Candidate.
Elijah Moore, I suppose, is a candidate. Jalen Brown is a candidate to be out there. Lil Wayne McCoy is a candidate. Briley wants to know, are one of those guys emerging as the guy after this weekend?
He's
no.
asking, yeah, okay.
No.
All right, there it is.
Nope.
Glad we thought it through.
No, we need more time.
It could probably play out into the season. And it should be okay.
So let's say this. I'm going to give you a hypothetical here that helps explain where I'm at. Let's say there's a player that they think can be part of that group, okay? And for what you think of whoever you want, right? There's a player that you think should be part of that group, whether he's experienced or talent or both or whatever it might be, right? But he's under that Kentron Portier umbrella of he's missed some time due to injury, trying to get back healthy. Okay, there's been a myriad of guys off and on again, that they've alluded to and mentioned before. Well, you don't have to have that solidified by Georgia Tech. You need to have a group that you're going to roll out there with, and that's fine. But I think you can beat Georgia Tech running the ball, throwing off a play action, running your quarterback, hitting Kyle Morlock, the backs out of the backfield, flipping field position with your great punter and playing good defense. I think you win the game that way. And then as we keep going, you get that bye week after the BC game. And now we reassess. After that BC game, you exhale and you say, okay, is everybody good? Are we all healthy now? Is everybody able to get reps the way we need them to get reps? All right, who are our guys? And I think that it could go well into the season.
Yeah. Well, then you have the bye after Clemson. I think that's the one when you determine what you are. That's your deadline. You kind of need to know after that Clemson game, because then you have a push where you play Miami, North Carolina, Notre Dame in sequence at the end of the month of October into November.
Yeah, so it's Georgia Tech and Boston College and bye, followed by Memphis.
Like you might be able to mess around if you do the right thing on in the lines of scrimmage, both trenches against Memphis. But SMU Clemson back-to-back, I mean, you kind of have to know what you are by the end of the Memphis game for that set. Then you have a bye, maybe you grow and expand, but you kind of need to know, and then that's it. I think that's it. But this is the other thing that's difficult about it. You can categorize somebody like it's in fantasy football or a video game. Let's just say you're playing the video game and you see the other team has personnel, 3 receivers, 2 backs. Okay, but they might not line up and shotgun with a back on either side of the quarterback and 3 receivers.
Right.
There might be 5 receivers in formation.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. So where these guys line up might not match what's next to their name on the lineup. Jalen Lucas is going to be in a lot of different spots. I believe Lawrence Toafili, he has been in the past in his career, is going to be in a lot of spots.
Correct.
You think Kyle Morlock's always going to be lined up next to a tackle with his hand in the ground?
I think he'll be out. Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing here. So, and I think if you're ranking top 4 targets, then Kyle's in there, and he's most certainly entrenched in there with Malik and probably with Ja'Kai.
Those 3 for sure.
Right. And then there's a 4th.
And the 4th is a tough one.
But Jalen Lucas might be listed as a running back, but he might be split out wide more than he's in the backfield. Who knows?
Right. There's lots of different ways to use them. It's the red zone, scoring in the retirement red zone. What you want to do, build that winning game plan. Do it with our friends at Artisan Financial Services. You can go check that out, as I said, at noelretirement.com. Come back, wrap it up. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A man died and multiple people were hospitalized Tuesday evening after 4-car wreck shut down I-10 eastbound for several hours. Multiple people were hospitalized with minor injuries after a minivan, truck, SUV, and a semi-truck were involved in the crash. The minivan driver, a 39-year-old Ocoee man, was killed in the crash. The collision took place at about 7:30 p.m. near mile marker 266. The wreck started after the minivan driver lost control. It suddenly veered into the median. The driver swerved back into the roadway to try to regain control and struck a truck. The minivan kept going and the driver completely lost control of the vehicle, dipping back into the median before crossing over into eastbound traffic, going the wrong way, where it then collided with an SUV. The SUV rolled over into a ditch and its 61-year-old driver had minor injuries. Then the minivan collided head-on with a semi-truck. It is under investigation what caused the minivan to lose control. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 7 p.m. tonight. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 95. Winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms, 77. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 92.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
no.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Wrapping it up. Libations Friday. Little rundown today. I'll have a ton of energy Monday. Those Pensacola folks, they're partiers. Had a good time. No, I didn't get crazy. It's just the drive. It's just the drive. You've done that drive. That's not a fun one.
I have. It is it's
whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. But Pensacola has come up in the world, and I've seen that
the city
over the past 10 years.
I was impressed. Charming downtown area now that didn't exist but a number of years ago, and it's impressive. And the beaches have always been beautiful.
Have you been to the whiskey bar in Palafox?
What's it called?
I just know it's on the main drag, and you would know it.
Yeah,
you would know
go
it.
and it's all bottles and bottles.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
What a place.
Yeah, it's a cool place. Yeah, it's a cool place. By the way, before I do probables, if you're in Tallahassee, you could actually just type in Dexafit.com, and when you go to their website, you'll see it says "Get Dexafit near me," and then you click on that, and you'll see where you can go to the Tallahassee one. It's on Capitol Circle over there by Bumpus. And I mentioned the last time the DEXA scan, where you can determine your bone density and the measurements of visceral fat and the things that you got to work on. If you get a DEXAFit scan like once every 3 to 6 months, you guys have probably heard of like Dr. Peter Artia. It's a guy I read. They'll recommend that kind of as part of your annual physical checkup. And so, athletes use this, competition prep, all that stuff happens. You got to know your body composition. It gives you a better opportunity to kind of figure out a common sense approach to your health and what you should be working on. And of course, they provide VO2 max, and they'll do the RMR, which is you'll learn your resting metabolic heart rate and all those things, additional benefits and results from knowing what is strong, what is weak, things you need to work on, areas that they can help you out with. And it can really work alongside anything that you're already utilizing for fitness. So if you have a workout, like if you go to Orange Theory Fitness, you can incorporate all this. So right now there is a promo code. I'll save you a bunch of money. Use Jeff25. It's the discount code for 25% off of any of their services at DEXAFit. 25% is a lot. Use Jeff25 as the discount code, and that way they'll know you heard it, and they'll say, oh, well, somebody's listening to the Jeff Cameron Show, and they came in here. That's beneficial to all. So do business with those who do business with us. That's promo code Jeff25 for the 25% off. Tom, let's do some probables, buddy. Big baseball games. My team's really not in it anymore, but yours still is, so let's do it.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
We're not doing the music, huh?
Well, I can kick the people out and say, have a good weekend.
I can't believe the generic music gets tagged. It's not even a real song.
All right. You know what? I'm going to do like the people on meetings do on Zooms. I'm going to give you 3 minutes of your weekend back, everybody. 3 minutes of your day.
There you go.
Goodbye.